What's going on? It's your guy Engineer Mojo. Today is a very straightforward, simple DIY maintenance item for your car. How to change your starters. Try to get this tutorial done in under 5 minutes for you guys. I know you're busy. To get this starter off fast, tools you'll need are socket wrench, 10mm socket, various extensions to get this job a little easier. I use a 3 and a 12 to make it easier, but you can do whatever kind of combination that you feel like is necessary. 12mm socket, 14mm socket. Now if I use any other sockets or any other tools, I'll list that down below in the tool description. You can check that out. And also, if you have any aftermarket parts on your car related to your battery, terminals, or anything like that, you may have some varying socket sizes. So keep that in mind. First step you want to do, and this is very, very important step. Remove the negative terminal to your battery. You're working in direct line to your battery when you're dealing with your starter. You can easily create a short and mess up your battery or some of your grounding wires. This is usually a 10mm socket, or if you have an aftermarket grounding wire, it may be a different socket. Let's locate the starter. We're on the passenger side of your car. Here's your motor, transmission. Attached directly to the transmission is the starter. As you see, this piece right here, this whole mechanism is the starter. You'll have to disconnect this plug. It's easy, you just pull it out from this part right here. Just pull it right out. You want to disconnect the power line. That should just be a 12mm. And then you also want to undo these two 14mm. Here's one 14mm right there, and the other one is on the other side of the starter. Can't really see it or show it on the video, but it's right there. I've already semi loosened some of this material, so I'll go ahead and take off the 12mm bolt. I've already loosened it, so I can just take it off by hand. That's removed. Next, I'll do this unplugging right here. I don't know if you can see where my hand is. I'll just pull this right out. That comes right out. There's the 14mm bolt that holds on the starter. I'll just loosen that up. I unbolted the other 14mm bolt that was on the other side of the starter as well. That's a better angle if everything unbolted. Now what I'll do from here is just maneuver the starter out from the transmission housing, back this way, and back through this back side. To go over what you took off, here's one location for the 14mm mounting bolt. If you flip it around, that's the other location for the 14mm mounting bolt. Here's a location of the 12mm power line. Here's a plug that you need to unplug. And also on some starters, you'll have this wire loom mount location. My wire loom was not connected, yours may be. This is a 10mm bolt that you need to remove as well. Whenever I buy a new car part, I like to compare the new product with the existing old product. It's a real quick comparison just to make sure I bought the correct part. The only difference that I see is that on the new unit, there is no bracket for the wire loom. On the old one, there's a bracket for the wire loom. On the new one, there isn't. But I can take the one from the old and put it on the new, transfer this bracket onto the new unit, and everything will be pretty much the same as if it was original. Old bracket has now been installed on the new starter. From this point, install of the new starter is the same as the removal of the old. You can just trace back the steps you took to remove the old to put back in the new starter. I'll route this back the way I came, back behind my intake. Just a few extra items to note. I went ahead and cleaned up my positive terminal that attaches back onto the starter. Sometimes it'll get a little of that green residue on there. I just use a metal bristle brush to scrape that off and get it clean, get a better contact on the starter. Another tip, I do attach the wire loom first before I connect the battery fully. That way it helps the battery cable that's coming from the battery, helps it from not twisting while you're trying to tighten it. And I'll always do one last check just to make sure everything is hooked up correctly. Power, wire connection there. It's mounted into the transmission housing, and I have reconnected my negative terminal to my battery. Installed. The starter is now complete. Test that your car starts. You should be good to go. As always, thanks for watching. Please give any tips down below. If you think you can do this easier, let me know. I love hearing about tips, so it also helps other viewers. And if you like, please share, please subscribe. I'm out.